Hey everyone, welcome in here to the channel. Cole Carmody here. I work for GoPowerCat.com. I cover Kansas State athletics. I am also a Kansas City Royals fan. First off, thanks everyone so much for those of you who have subscribed to the channel. I think in my second video, I said I wanted my subscriber goal to be 100 subscribers by the end of March. And at the time of this recording, I think we're at like 195. You guys have done been a huge blessing for me. We're up to over 785 views on the last Kansas State football video. The one before that is close to 1,000. So if you have not had a chance to go check those out and you're a K-State fan, make sure you go check those videos out. The first video we put out dealt with the Royals, and why not? Let's talk about some Kansas City Royals baseball. I'm going to have more content in the coming days. I had a chance to be at the Kansas State women's Big 12 tournament run. They lost in the semifinals. I might have a little bit of content coming out about the Big 12 tournament, my thoughts on that. But you guys clicked on this video because you saw the thumbnail. You saw MJ Melendez, or as I like to call him, the key to the Kansas City Royals' success in 2024. And before you call me crazy, just understand that MJ Melendez is probably one of my all-time favorite prospects that have actually come through the system for the Royals. Right next to Eric Hosmer, Mike Moustakas. You all remember the names that are on this shirt. A funny story about this shirt. I got it at a Goodwill like 3 years ago. Of course, we all had that nostalgic feeling. I was like, oh, I have to get that shirt. Look at all those guys on there, the 2015 roster for the World Series. And on that roster were some prospects that were hyped up, just like MJ Melendez was hyped up. MJ Melendez had his struggles in A-ball. Excuse me. Had his struggles in A-ball. After that, he recovered. He, along with Nick Prado and a little bit later, Bobby Witt Jr., would be joined together in the minor leagues. MJ Melendez would lead all of minor league baseball in home runs before he came to the show. And when he came to the show, there was a lot of hype surrounding him. Not only was there hype surrounding him, there was questions. Would he be a catcher? Would he play third base? Would he play first base? Or would he be an outfielder? And ultimately, what the Royals decided on at the time, Mike Matheny and Dayton Moore, MJ Melendez, he's going to catch and he's going to do this and he's going to do that. I think it was a good idea, but it was not very practical. MJ Melendez's statistics behind the plate suffered because of it. He was having to learn new positions at the major league level. It's not easy. And in the first year of Matt Quatraro and JJ Piccolo last season, that was also the plan. MJ Melendez was going to catch and he was going to play the outfield. And it did not work out for MJ. Again, his defensive numbers in both spots dropped significantly. He was not a valuable player. He was almost unplayable in the outfield in the beginning part of the season, and he was practically unplayable behind the dish. Thankfully for the Royals, Freddie Vermin emerged as somebody who was a pretty consistent backup for Salvador Perez. And the Royals said, you know what, MJ, we're going to move you to the outfield full time. And I think that's a great move. And if you recall anything about the Royals, they've had some success of moving people to the outfield, specifically left field. A guy by the name of Alex Gordon might ring a bell. He started out as a third baseman. He was not very good. He could not hit. He could not field. He went down to Omaha, learned how to play left field, came back up to the big leagues, turns out to be a Royals Hall of Famer. The rest is history. I'm not saying MJ Melendez is going to be a Royals Hall of Famer, but I think he could be a really good defensive outfielder. And before I start talking about his hitting and why I think he is the key to this team, I want to talk about his potential in the outfield. And when I look at MJ, I look at a guy who is extremely athletic. You cannot be a catcher without being an athlete. Don't believe what people say. In order to be an athlete, or excuse me, in order to be a catcher, you have to be an athlete. MJ has a rocket arm, and he's extremely mobile. He was able to steal some bases last season. He got caught more than he stole. That's a part of his game I know he wants to improve, but he's a pretty good base runner. He has the speed to do it. He has the arm talent to do it. The question becomes, how do you perfect those routes? And really the only answer to that is just through repetition. MJ now has dedicated himself to being a full-time outfielder. I would expect good things out of MJ Melendez in the outfield. He has the potential to be a really good outfielder because of that arm, because of that infield background. Think about Alex Gordon. He had a strong arm over the third base. It translated to the outfield. One of the best throwing outfielders in the last 20 years in all of baseball was Alex Gordon. I don't know if MJ has that same potential, But because of his arm strength, I think left field is a perfect profile for him, especially in right field. Now, this year, you're going to have Hunter Renfroe. I would expect MJ Melendez to play a lot of left field. And, it wouldn't shock me if he plays a little bit of right, but I think left field is going to be his spot. That's going to be where the Royals see him. And if they can pencil him in as the everyday left fielder and he is able to provide something on defense, that is a positive for this team. But with MJ Melendez, obviously the reason he's valuable is because of his bat. I have some statistics pulled up here that I'm going to read. Last season, MJ Melendez had a negative .04 WAR. Now, what that means, wins above replacement, essentially, was he a productive player? The answer to that question is no. I did not go through and give examples of maybe what a good WAR is, but just know a negative WAR is not good. MJ Melendez played every single day for the Royals, and he struggled. Last season, he hit .235 with a .316 on base. That is .316. One thing that the Royals loved about MJ was his ability to get on base. We did not see that last year. And although that, in an ideal world, maybe not in today's game, you'd like your on base to be about 100 points better than your batting average. If MJ Melendez is getting on base at a .335 clip, I don't think there's necessarily, it's not a bad thing, but I don't think that's the kind of production you want. You want MJ to have that 360, 350, 360 range. He's getting on base a lot more with that. Last season, he struck out 170 times compared to 62 walks. That's more than a 2-to-1 percentage. You do not want that if you're MJ Melendez. If you're MJ Melendez, you want that to be, you want to cut down on those strikeouts. I think of what a productive season looks like as far as a strikeout walk percentage goes. If I were to pinpoint a number, if you strike out less than 150 times and get those walks up over 80, closer to 100, then you're going to be doing really good things. Your on base is going to go up. But that all starts with pitch selection. And that is one thing that MJ really struggled with last season, was knowing what pitches to hit and what pitches to lay off of. His chase rate was pretty high. He swung and missed a lot. I think there's one thing in MJ's game that he wants to fix. It's his swing and miss, because there is a lot of swing and miss. And I think if you're a Royals fan, you can live with the swing and miss if he's able to put the ball over the wall like he did in the minor leagues. He hit over 40 home runs in a minor league season. That would probably translate to closer to 45, 50 home runs in a big league season. If he were to play 162 down there, that's not realistic. I don't think MJ is going to hit 50 home runs, but he can be a 30-plus home run guy. His first season, he hit 18 and limited. I don't want to say limited in about 100 games. It's a really good sample size. I think that if MJ Melendez would have played 162, he probably would have been close to that 30. This past season, though, the home runs dropped significantly. 16 home runs, 56 RBIs. The one positive for MJ Melendez, his slugging was a little bit higher. He had 9 more extra base hits in his second season as opposed to his first season. I think that's good for MJ Melendez. He's not always going to be able to hit the ball out of the park, especially in Kauffman Stadium. But if he's hitting the gaps, if he's hitting those doubles, I'd like to see those triples numbers go up a little bit, man. Like, push for it. And you're going to have the protection in this order where you're going to get pitches to hit. If there's one thing MJ Melendez does, it's crush fastballs. And so I think getting some protection for him in the order is really big. I would not be opposed to maybe trying him in a spot like the 2-hole, right? Put MJ Melendez up there in the 2-hole. I know they love Bobby in that spot. I know they love Michael Garcia, but you could get creative. If MJ is able to hammer the fastball, you could put Bobby Witt Jr. in your leadoff spot. Not only is Bobby getting the most at-bats, but there are also going to be a lot of fastballs, because when you have a guy like Bobby Witt Jr. who's going to steal 50 bags, they're going to want to try and throw him out. So they're going to have to throw him fastballs. I think that could be something to get MJ going, is we might see MJ Melendez hitting that upper part of the order. I think that could be really, really crucial for MJ. Now, I was in the camp of maybe you trade MJ Melendez. Coming into this season, maybe that's somebody who might be on the trading block. He might be kind of valuable. I'm not sure you do that, because I think you have some internal replacements if MJ struggles. Nick Prado has had a great spring, and we're going to talk about spring stats here in a second, and I don't want to get too deep in the weeds on that, because we all know the spring training statistics are not extremely reliable, but Nick Prado is hitting like 400. He has multiple home runs. This is a guy who's going to probably start the season in AAA, but he might force the Royals' hands to be on the big league roster, and if he does, then he's going to take some playing time away from MJ Melendez. Vinny Pasquantino ain't getting off first base. Salvador Perez ain't getting off the designated hitter catcher role. He's going to place the first base too. There's not enough at-bats to go around for everybody. And so I think if Nick Prado does make this team, we might see MJ maybe not play as much. 2 left-handed options. Nick Prado can play the outfield. But I would suspect that Nick Prado starts the season in AAA, and if MJ struggles, It could be just a flip-flop right there. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I think that's something the Royals would do. But MJ Melendez is crucial for this team. He has to be good, because if he's good, that deepens the lineup so much. He doesn't have to be all-star level good, but if he is able to hit 30 home runs, if he's able to hit 250, get on base at a 345, 350 clip, that changes the whole complexion of this offense. It takes it from they could be really good to, oh no, they are really good, because you know what you're going to get with Salvi. You know what you're going to get with Vinny, with Bobby, even with Michael Garcia at this point, I feel confident. But MJ Melendez is that question mark. So if that question mark can be taken away, this offense can be taken to another level. I'm so excited for MJ Melendez. As far as why I think this can happen, and there's been some adjustments again with spring training stats. He's hitting 389. 4 of his 9 hits have come for extra bases, including a home run. He's made an adjustment with his hands. Before, his hands were a little higher. Now they're a little lower. He still has the flamingo leg kick. You can't even see. I'm a baseball nerd, so I like to demonstrate swings. But MJ Melendez, I think he has a beautiful swing. He kind of looks like he's falling out sometimes, but he has so much power in that swing that he is going to generate a lot of extra base hits. And if he can do that, if he can hit home runs, if he can hit doubles and play a solid left field, this lineup goes from being maybe middle of the road to probably being a top 10 offense in the league. I don't think that's an exaggeration. I am so excited for MJ Melendez's potential this season. He's had a whole year to learn strictly the outfield. He's thrown away the catcher's gear. Get it out of here. Go get that outfielder's glove, MJ. Let's see what you can do out there. You might turn out to be pretty good. I'm excited for his future. I'm excited for 2024. I'm excited for his potential. Most of all, I'm excited for the Royals. It's going to be a really fun year. MJ Melendez is going to be a really big part of that. Thanks everyone so much for watching this video. Make sure you go ahead and leave a comment, drop a like on this video. Go ahead and subscribe too. Ring that bell for notifications. I'm going to try and put videos out sooner. I always feel like I'm releasing them so late at night. That's not going to happen anymore. I'm going to do my best to give you guys videos on a more consistent basis. But thanks everyone who's subscribed. Thanks everyone for watching, supporting me. I really appreciate it. It's going to be a fun spring. It's going to be a fun summer. Make sure you're following along on this YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitter at ColeCarmody52. Put out some good stuff, especially if you like K-State. If you're a Royals fan, I'll start tweeting about the Royals too, because I kind of like them. Thanks everybody so much for watching. Talk to you next time.